So if you've watched my shorts about this topic, I am going to dive way deeper into my so-called controversial rules in my marriage for you guys. So buckle up. I'm going to start with the sentence that triggered the internet the most. My husband leads, I follow. And before you click off, let me tell you why I'm even saying that in the first place, because I'm not saying it to impress men. And I am sure as hell not saying to trigger women. I'm saying this because it's true. And it's the reason our marriage is peaceful, passionate, and solid to the core. Not perfect, but solid. And I'm going to be very honest with you. I used to think these rules sounded very intense and a little outlandish too. But then I watched what happens when couples have no rules. They call it freedom. It's not freedom, it's chaos. And chaos kills respect. Chaos kills desire. Chaos kills trust. So in this video, I'm breaking down the controversial rules in my marriage, but I'm not just going to list them. I'm going to show you what they actually look like in real life, in our house, in our routines, and in the way that we handle temptation, conflict, money, family, friends, and intimacy. And I'm also going to address the biggest lie people spread about traditional marriages. They think it's about control. It is not. It is about clarity. And clarity is what creates polarity. And polarity is what keeps a marriage alive. So let's get into it. First, let me tell you who I am so you understand where I'm coming from. Hi, my name is Lauren. I'm a wife who loves being a wife. And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not apologizing for that. And I'm not performing for anybody's approval. I love cooking for my husband. I love making our home feel warm. I love turning our house into a place that feels like peace. Not because I'm forced to, but because I choose to. And here's the part that people don't understand. Choosing a role is not oppression. Being trapped in a role is. In our marriage, I am not trapped. I am free because my husband carries the weight and I get to create peace. That is the structure. Now let's talk about why we even have rules. People treat marriage like it's supposed to run on just good vibes, like love is enough, like attraction is automatic, and like loyalty is effortless. I'm sorry, but rude awakening, it's not. Marriage is a system. It is the most important business decision that you are going to make your entire life. If you don't build the system on purpose, the system builds itself. And the system builds it usually by two stressed people, two bruised egos, two phones, no intimacy, no polarity, and zero respect. And then everybody says, I don't know what happened. I do. No rules happened. No structure was in place. Rules are not prison. Rules are protection. They protect your peace. They protect your bond. They protect your attraction, and they protect your future. So I'm going to walk you through the rules, but in themes, because our rules work together like a machine. And theme 1, leadership. 1 captain, no chaos. The rule, my husband has the final say. Let me make that very real and clear. We're deciding something small, where to eat, what we're doing this weekend, where we're traveling, how we're spending the money. And a lot of couples turn these into fights, not because the decision actually matters, but because nobody wants to lose control. In our marriage, I give my input. I'm not silent. I'm not voiceless. I tell him what I think. I tell him what I feel. I tell him what I want. But then he decides. And when he decides, I don't punish him for deciding. I don't second guess him for the next 3 days. And I don't do the fine, whatever voice. Ew, no, stop. That is gross. I back him up. That backing creates unity and trust. And unity creates safety. And safety is what lets me relax into my feminine because I'm not living in decision fatigue. Here's a real example. If my husband says, hey, babe, we're going here tonight, my nervous system automatically relaxes because I don't have to drive the ship. I don't have to think. And men, listen, that's why women get snappy. Decision fatigue. She's been leading all day at work, with the kids, with life, with herself. Then she comes home and her man goes, what do you want to do? Where do you want to eat? Where should we go? What do you think? No, it sounds polite, but it feels like a damn burden. So stop doing that. When a man leads, a woman softens. Simple. When a man hesitates, she hardens. Simple. That's polarity. And polarity is not freaking politics, it's biology. Theme 2, roles. I run the house. He runs the world. This is the rule. I protect the home. Cooking, cleaning, nurturing, creating peace, making it look cute and pretty. That is my power. Let me tell you why. My husband goes out into the world and he deals with stress every single day. Pressure, people, problems. If he comes home and the energy is the same, tense, messy, bitter, chaotic, overwhelming, he never gets to recover. So I protect that atmosphere. Oh, I protect it hardcore. That doesn't mean that I'm his freaking maid. It means I'm the woman who understands what a home is actually for. A home is not a storage unit. A home is a place where your nervous system can heal. And here's a real example. If my husband has a hard day, I don't meet him at the door with, hey, you forgot this, or hey, we need to talk. You never, whatever. You always. Just stop nagging. I meet him with warmth, food, peace, softness, a hug, a kiss, just with myself. And you want to know what that creates? A man who actually wants to protect you, a man who wants to provide for you, wants to lead you, and actually wants to come home to you. That's the part that modern culture ignores. Men don't just leave because of sex. They leave because home feels like war. So yes, I cook, I clean, I create the peace and make the home beautiful. And I am damn proud of that. Because I'm building something that most people are starving for. Theme 3, money. He provides, I multiply. This is the rule. He pays the bills, simple. He runs the money, simple. Run the peace. And before anybody twists it, let me say it clearly. This does not mean that I'm dumb. Does not mean that I'm helpless. This does not mean that I can't make my own money, because I do. It means we choose a structure that removes competition, because I've watched money destroy marriages. Not because people are broke though, but because people fight for control. In our marriage, he carries the financial responsibility, and because of that, I'm not living in survival stress, and I don't want to worry about the money. Just give me an allowance so I can have my retail therapy every once in a while. And when I'm not living in survival stress, I'm more feminine. I'm more playful, more affectionate, and way more present. Now here's the real life part. If I woke up tomorrow and said, baby, I want to stop everything and I just want to focus on our home for a while, guess what he would say? Okay, I got it. Don't worry about it. That is total freedom, and that makes me so, so happy and safe. I'm not trapped by fear. I am supported by complete structure. And what do I do with what he provides? I multiply it. I turn the money into meals, into experiences, into a home that feels like love, into memories, and into peace. We're not competing. We're building with each other. Theme 4, loyalty. No backup options. The rule? No opposite sex best friends, no secret DMs, no just friends with somebody who would date you in a heartbeat or if you weren't in the picture. This rule is the easiest one to understand, yet the hardest one for modern culture to obey today. Why? Modern culture is addicted to attention and validation, and attention is not innocent. Sorry, it's not. Attention is permission. If you're married, you don't keep the doors open. You don't keep backups. You do not keep options. Cut it out. That is where cheating starts. Not with sex, with secrecy. Another rule, no secrecy. We don't hide things, ever. If you feel like you have to hide it, then it's wrong. This is a real example. Say a man messaged me something inappropriate on one of my social media platforms. I do not entertain it. I don't just ignore it. I shut it down. I block. And guess what? Guess who knows right away? My husband. Not because I'm scared, but because I respect him more than some schmuck sending me something gross on social media. And I respect us and men. If a woman is DMing you, flirting, testing, opening the door, you don't keep it for your ego. You shut it down and you do not go through that damn door. Control yourself and stop thinking with that. Every time you accept outside attention, you reduce the value of your marriage. Theme 5, single life is not married life. The rule? No clubbing or bar scenes without each other, ever. Single life behavior does not belong in a committed marriage, ever. I don't care how normal it is. Normal doesn't mean healthy, and I don't care about your damn girls trip. If you keep putting yourself in single environments, you will eventually act single. What's the real example? If my friends want to go out to some bar or club and my husband isn't coming, one, I don't want to go at all. Not just because he's not there, but because I respect us more. I'm not being controlled. I am committed and I value our marriage more than just being seen or having a couple drinks with my girls. That one decision protects peace. Theme 6, respect. Public respect is law. Public respect is a non-negotiable. I will never clown or put down my husband in public, ever. Why? Disagreements happen at home, privately, because disrespect is not communication. Disrespect is destruction. And a real example could be if we're out and he says something that I don't like or don't agree with, I don't embarrass him, I don't correct him, and I do not do the sarcastic wife act. I wait. We talk later, privately, or I just get over it because it's not that big of a deal. Because I'm not his enemy, I am his wife. And the reason this matters is pretty simple. When a woman respects a man, he rises. When a woman humiliates a man, he collapses or he hardens. Either way, the intimacy dies. Theme 7, conflict. No childish games. The rule? No silent treatment. We communicate always, even when it's uncomfortable, even if one of us doesn't want to in the moment. Silent treatment is punishment. It's manipulation, and it is actually just pretty lazy. We don't do that. A real example. If I'm upset, I say it. If he's upset, he says it. We don't disappear for 3 days or a week and call it space. We address the issue right away. We repair it. We move forward and we let it go. Another rule. We don't air dirty laundry. No trash talking to friends, no posting fights, no involving family. Outsiders don't get a vote in our marriage, ever. Why? Because once you poison somebody else's image of your spouse, you cannot unsee it, and you can't unpoison it. Theme 8, marriage first. Not friends, not family, and not even your kids or future kids. The rule? Marriage outranks friendships. If it threatens the marriage, cut off. Simple. If a friend is constantly speaking negatively about my husband, planting seeds, disrespecting him, that friendship ends because I am loyal to my core, to my vows, and not to my damn group chat. Another rule, kids don't outrank marriage, ever. We don't have kids yet, but when we do, we will live by this because the best thing a child can see and have is parents who love and respect each other. If the marriage collapses, then the home collapses. So the marriage comes first. Another rule, date nights are never optional. You do not stop dating your spouse when you get married ever, because that is how you keep the polarity alive in your guys' connection. We schedule it, we protect it, we show up like it matters because it does. Theme 9. Intimacy. Sex is not a weapon. Stop using it as one. The rule is sex is never used as a bargaining chip against each other. Not as punishment, not as leverage, and never as a form of manipulation. Sex is connection. That is your bond with each other, a big bond, and it's a big part of what keeps a marriage alive. And I will say this bluntly. Most couples aren't even having sex because they hate each other. They can't even stand each other's presence. They're not having sex because the polarity is dead. No respect, no leadership, no safety, no closeness, no admiration, nothing. That's why these rules matter. They protect the conditions that make the desire natural. Theme 10, protection and teamwork. The rule is he protects me physically, I protect him emotionally. That means that I don't destroy him with my mouth. I don't disrespect him. I don't belittle him. And I sure as hell don't compete with him. I build him up, and he protects me, not just from physical danger, but from stress, from instability, from chaos, from it all, from the world. Another rule is we are each other's cheerleaders. He surprised me with salsa classes. I surprised him with a martial arts MMA membership. That's partnership. We invest in each other's confidence. We keep each other alive always. And the last rule, divorce is never an option, nor is it even talked about. The rule is divorce is not even in our vocabulary. We don't joke about it. We don't threaten it. We don't use it as a weapon ever. Because when divorce is always on the table, every fight becomes a threat and it just gets nasty. When it's not on the table, guess what? You solve the problem. Now, do not twist my words. If you are in an abusive relationship, get help and get out and get safe. I'm talking about normal marriages with normal problems. Why this triggers people? Because rules expose the weak spots. Rules expose lack of discipline, lack of loyalty, lack of emotional control, lack of boundaries, and lack of leadership. Most people want the benefits of marriage without the standards. And that's why modern dating is loud, but empty and soulless. So now I want to close with this. This works because we are clear in our roles, our boundaries, our loyalty, and our respect, our self-respect, and the respect that we have for each other. And remember this loop. Clarity creates polarity. Polarity creates desire. Desire creates connection. Connection creates loyalty, and loyalty creates peace. And if you want this kind of marriage, you don't need more communication. You need structure. And you need some standards. You need the rules. And you need the courage to live by them, even when people don't like it. Because at the end of the day, I'm not building a marriage for strangers online. I'm just sharing it with you guys to see our dynamic and to see how we actually live. I'm building a marriage that feels like peace because it is. That feels like passion. That feels like a home. And if that makes people uncomfortable, good. I really could care less. It works for us. We are happy. Let it be, let it go, whatever. It's